Welcome to Spinsterhood. My name's Jill and I'll be your guide. And some people think that it's tough to discern whether or not someone's into you, but I gotta tell you, no, it's not. Dating can be complicated, but you know what's not complicated? Is knowing whether or not someone's into you. So here's my very short, very simple list of things to look for in the person that you're going on a date with to determine whether they're actually into you. Number one, they asked you out on a date. Or if you asked them, they enthusiastically said yes. So those are two, that's the first step, right? Someone does that, they're interested. And I might add, they asked you out on a date. A date. Not let's hang out, okay? Hanging out is for friends. Hanging out is for people who don't want the actual commitment of a date because they either don't want to seem vulnerable, which listen, if you want to be in a relationship, you got to learn to be vulnerable. That's just, them's the rules, okay? Them's the love rules. I didn't make them up. Nature did. Or they just don't want to call it a date because they don't want to feel like they're on the lead for you. Yeah, okay, if I call it a date now, if it doesn't go well, I got to deal with this person being like, are we going out again? Blah, blah, blah. They don't want to make any sort of emotional commitment. Even on the tiniest of levels. Teeny, 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 tiny. They don't want to make it. So, if that's the case, and they don't call it a date, they're not that interested. You're welcome. Number two, if they don't ask anything about you, if they don't actually seem interested in who you are and what you like to do, if you mention to someone that you love to travel and they don't want to and they don't follow up with, oh, where have you been? Or where do you want to go next? Forget it. If you mention that you have a pet, right? You have a cat, you have a dog, and they don't ask, oh, what's their name? Oh, what kind? They're not interested. They don't care to know more about you. If you bring up your family at all and they don't have any follow-up questions about them, they're not interested. They're not, because they're selfish. Number three, if they don't follow up after the date. If they don't follow up saying that they want to see you again, they ain't interested and they don't want to see you again. So don't bother. And lastly, number four, it kind of goes hand in hand with number three, but if you don't hear from them again, or you don't hear from them for weeks, and then all of a sudden out of the blue, they send you a text or a message and are like, oh, hey, want to get together, meet up again? Yeah, no, they're not interested, okay? Because if they had a good time with you, and then for some reason weeks went by where they had no desire to see you or talk to you or find out how you're doing or what's going on in your life, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, hey, trust me, they're not interested. At least not in who you are. They may be interested in what you are, if you know what I mean. But they're not interested in who you are, what you're all about, and what you're doing in your future, which hopefully, if they are really interested, will be spending time with them. So there you have it. Those are four very simple, easy things to look for when going out with someone to determine whether or not they're interested in you. It's really easy to know when someone's not interested, but we choose sometimes to ignore those signs because we're interested. So I encourage you, take a step back, really ask yourself those questions, answer them honestly, and it hurts, but sometimes when it's there in black and white, it's there in black and white. You just gotta be like, all right, well, on to the next. Till next time, you stay confident, and I wish you all the best on your dates. I hope that you find someone who is as interested in you as you are in them. And let's be real, that is the most difficult part. It's so hard sometimes. So hard. But I'll see you next time on Spinsterhood. and things to look for so that you